guys, I'm Lindsay. I'm the owner of Scorpio Rising Media. And in addition to brand photography and videography, I am also a huge enthusiast for discovering organizational systems and productivity hacks. One of my all-time favorite tools that I use in both my business and personal life is Notion. If you're unfamiliar with Notion, it's basically an all-in-one project management tool. I mean, you can organize things like to-do lists and calendars and spreadsheets. I mean, you can really just do it all. And the best part, the reason why I love it so much, is that it has a drag and drop interface that allows you to design and customize it with whatever sort of aesthetics or elements that you want to incorporate into it. I don't know about you, but I am a firm believer that the best productivity systems are inspiring, which is why I just absolutely love Notion, because you can really customize it and design it to fit your style, your aesthetics. Or you can, just keep it really simple and minimalist if you don't want to waste time with that. But I just love how it gives you the option for either or. So today I thought it'd be fun to show you guys one of my more exciting Notion setups. I'm going to be showing you guys my wedding planner. I'm going to be getting married in Ireland in April 2024. It's just going to be a small, I guess you could call it like a micro wedding with just 20 of our closest friends and family. But since we're all coming from the States, it is a international destination wedding. So there's a lot of logistics, a lot of details to figure out. And that's why I've been kind of keeping it all together in Notion. And I'm gonna show you guys how I've been doing that. I do have to make a quick plug real quick. If you love everything you see today and you want a version for your own Notion because you're also planning a wedding, definitely check out my Notion shop, where I have a version of this template on there for you to buy. It comes in 3 different aesthetics, so you can choose what's most similar to your style. And it's also very flexible so that you can shape it to fit your own needs and style. All right, let's get into it. All right, so this is my Notion wedding planner. Like I said, it is based off of the template that I sell in my shop. I have obviously customized it to fit my needs and my style a little bit. So it's not going to be exactly like what you see in my shop, but it'll be very, very similar. All right, so getting started here first with my dashboard page. The dashboard page, if you're already familiar with Notion, is pretty much like the heart of every Notion system. It's where you'll find links to a lot of the subpages, as well as maybe some like views of databases. It's great to just get like an at a glance idea of just everything that's going on in your Notion system. So this is my dashboard page for my planner. I do have dashboard pages for like every larger aspect in my life. So I have like a business dashboard page as well as a personal dashboard page. But since my wedding is taking up a lot of time and energy, I decided to create its own dashboard page as well and sort of create a whole separate system for it. So that is what you'll see here. At the top, I have a widget, a countdown widget, just so that I can, feel the pressure of time passing by. Under that are some sub pages, and I will get into those so you can see what those look like in just a minute. This image is of me and James. This is actually from our elopement shoot. So we actually technically are already married. We eloped at City Hall this June. I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but you actually can't get married internationally if you're like US citizens. So we knew that we were going to have some sort of civil ceremony. And so we decided to do that while we were on the East Coast with our family. That way we could make it a small thing and go out to dinner with our parents. And it was really nice. We got our really good friend, Maria Wirtz, who is a phenomenal photographer. She took some photos of us. And so that's what this is. To the right, we have some quick links. The first is a link to our budgeting and spending spreadsheet, which I use Google Docs for. Now, Notion does have like a table database, so I could technically just keep that in Notion as well. Like if I wanted to create a budget database and spending spreadsheet, I could do that in Notion. But to be honest, Notion's table database just isn't ideal for finances. Just the formula is just not the same as Excel or Google Sheets. It's just not as easy to use. So that's why I've just been keeping everything in my Google Drive when it comes to finances. And it's also easier to share that with people, like sharing it with James or whoever else needs to see it. But I've just found that it's a little more simple to just keep that on a spreadsheet in Google. So I don't have anything finance related in this planner. Under that, we have our wedding website, and we are actually using a builder called With Joy, which is not common. It took me a while to find that, so I'm not even sure how many people have heard of it, but I just found a lot of the bigger wedding websites that most people use, their customization options when it came to making the websites were very, very limited. And I know some people prefer that because they're not into design and everything, but that's actually really important to me. And so I found With Joy, and it, isn't that customizable, but it's definitely more customizable than the leading competition. And you can also sort of design things further with HTML. So if you're familiar with that, could be a good option if that's something that's really important to you, to be able to really customize your wedding website. Definitely worth looking into. I know also we're not, doing any sort of registry since we are having an international destination wedding. So that wasn't as important to us, which I know is a big reason why people go for those other big wedding websites, but that isn't really a huge priority for us. I was able to choose a platform that focused more on design and wasn't really about the registry aspect. So I keep links to those two websites here just because I do find myself sort of going to those a lot when I'm planning and organizing things. So underneath that, I have a list database that really just has a few pages for just random ideas and random lists that I want to create. Doesn't really pertain with anything on my sub pages, so I just kind of put them in that database, and it's a catch-all for that there. All right, then at the bottom here is my timeline checklist, and this is what keeps me organized and what keeps me sane. So this is basically a complete overview of everything that has to be done before our wedding date. Things like booking certain vendors or DIY projects I have in mind, or buying certain things. It all goes on this giant checklist, and right now I have it viewed by month, so I can kind of see at a glance what the rest of my year is going to look like what priorities I have by month. And then if I want to maybe not feel so overwhelmed, because it's a lot, I can just go to this monthly breakdown view, and that will just list out what I'm trying to focus on for this month, which is nice because it feels a little less overwhelming to view it this way when I'm just trying to figure out what needs to be done for this month. So the first one here I have is my events and schedule page. And since, again, we are doing an international destination wedding, our wedding events might be a little longer than most. So it's kind of I'm almost planning a vacation, really, which is why it's really important that I have to get everything organized by day and figure out what each event is happening, when and where. So that's why I have a whole page dedicated to that. So to the left here, I have just some pages where I'm keeping a lot of my research, also doing a little bachelorette party before my wedding. Basically, a few of the friends that I'm asking to attend the wedding, I've asked them to just come a few days earlier so that we can have some girl time and just celebrate before the actual wedding. So I have some events and things to plan in relation to that whole event. And so that's where I keep my research for the bachelorette activities. I have a little sub page that's just broken down into restaurants I want to try or unique experiences and other sort of ideas. It's all just in list form now. Nothing's actually been booked yet. And the same goes for the actual wedding events. I have just a little research list of restaurants, activities, and things that maybe the wedding guests will want to do. So I keep that all on those pages there, my research pages. This is a bachelorette activity survey. So eventually I'm going to survey the friends that are coming and kind of see what they want to do for our bachelorette activities. So, I mean, maybe I'll show you guys that at some point, but I don't really have that figured out yet, but that's what that is. And then over here I have a tentative schedule of all of the events right now. Everything from the bachelorette activities to the actual wedding events are all sort of mapped out right now. I mean, a lot of this isn't really official yet, but it's more so just an overview for my sake, and so that I can begin booking stuff and sort of planning out how the whole wedding week is going to look. And then under that, I have a database for any sort of official bookings I make. That is where I store that information so that I can like have a reference of like any sort of contact that I'm in contact with for that event or location or whatever it is, as well as the address and the dates that we're doing it, we're checking in, or the dates of that event. So so that's this database here. And then to the left is a linked view of that larger checklist I showed you guys before. This is basically the same thing, except it is just filtered by everything that I need to do in regards to events and scheduling. So it's just a good way for me to sort of see at a glance, like, okay, what do I need to still book or schedule? Like, what do I have to figure out events wise? And I'm able to view that all right here with this filtered view of that database. So that is the events and schedule page. And eventually, once everything is booked and figured out, I can then relay that information to my guest through my wedding website. But this is where I am planning everything for myself so that I can figure out all those logistics first. All right, so next up, we have our vendors page. And this page is where I'm keeping track of what vendors I've booked, as well as any sort of vendor research that I'm doing. So at the top here, again, that is a linked view of that bigger checklist database. So I'm only seeing the tasks that pertain to vendors. Like I still need to book my hair and makeup artist, still got to book a florist, musicians, guest transportation. So that's all filtered there. So I can see at a glance who needs to be booked still. And then below that, I have a database that again sort of keeps track of everyone that I've already booked. I've taken out a lot of this information just because it's not relevant to this tour, but it also houses, information like their email, their payment schedule, like what's due and when, as well as like the total cost, tipping ideas, things like that. So that all of that information will be on this database, will be in this table. And this is I also have a vendor research table. So when I was still in the research stage of venues, this is where I stored all of my venues and was able to rank them by priority choice. We ended up getting our first choice, thank goodness. But yeah, this is great for when it comes to, that research process when you're kind of between vendors and trying to figure out which one to go with. You can list out all your top choices here and compare their package details, and have all of their information saved so that it's easy to access at a glance. All right, so that's our vendors page. So next is the theme and style page. And this was really helpful in the beginning when I was sort of trying to figure out that style that I was going for. Now that I do have a really good idea of what I'm looking for, I don't really use this page as often, but I think it's a great page to come back to. And also just a great page to share, like if you want to share with your planner or, I don't know, whoever else needs to understand your wedding style. This would be a great page to share. So I just list, to the left here, I just have like a little notes thing of materials and textures I'm looking for. The overall theme, which we're going for like enchanted, woodland, romantic vibes. This is my color palette. And I created this through a graphic with Canva. And then I have 2 embedded Pinterest boards. That's where I keep a lot of like my inspo photos, is on Pinterest, obviously. But these 2 boards are really relevant to the theme and style. So I was able to embed them into my Notion so that I can kind of just see at a glance, like, okay, this is the vibe we're going for. And this is my like florals, tablescape board, and then my paper design board for any sort of like paper materials that I'll be using. And then here is our little logo that I designed. That is where we are going to be getting married, at Wilton Castle. And yeah, I just thought it'd be cute to have the logo there too, to kind of stay on theme. Okay, so moving on to the attire page. So this is where all the outfits and the day of clothing and beauty is going to be planned. A lot of it still has to be figured out now, but for the most part, at the top here, this is a little sneak peek of my wedding dress. I know James doesn't watch any of my videos, so there's no way he's gonna see that. But and this is also his suit. And then I might, once I buy some other clothing, I'm probably gonna add it to that database just so I can see everything together and like get an at a glance view of like my wardrobe for the whole trip. But underneath that, I have a checklist for all of the pieces that I want to buy or have yet to buy or need alterations. So I have a lot of stuff figured out already for like the ceremony, like the headpiece I want and the veil and things like this, earrings. I still need to figure out like what I want to wear to our welcome dinner. And there's like a few other events that I'm going to want to like certain outfits for. So once I figure that out, I'll add that to the list here. And then I can put the website there and kind of keep track of what I've already bought, what needs to be altered, or you know, what's ready to go. And then this can also serve as my packing list later on when we are getting ready to leave. Next up, let's go to decor and details and gifts. So this page is a catch-all for decor, details, and gifts. So I have at the top here a linked view, once again, of that giant checklist. But this one, of course, is filtered to just any sort of gifts or decor DIYs, decor that I want to buy. That's all filtered so that I'm only seeing those things in this database on this page. To the right, I have a little DIY projects breakdown. But just to keep everything together, I like to break the project down into like what supplies I need, as well as like any inspo. I'll put the photos in there. That way I can kind of stay on top of whatever DIYs I am planning and doing. And so I've actually already done the invitation, so that's finished. But I'm gonna have a few more DIYs to do. I think when I like DIY are dinner menus and name cards, especially because there's only 20 people, it should be pretty easy. So that's where I'll keep all of that stuff in that database there. All right, so underneath that, I have a table database where I'm keeping track of all of the decor and gifts that I come across that like I might eventually want to buy. So this is like, I call the decor and gift sourcing. So it's just like another sort of research database where I'm storing, you know, any sort of cute gifts, maybe for like the men. I'll just put it in that table so that I can come back to it. When I do need to buy gifts for the men, you know, I can look and see like, oh, well, this is, you know, one of the things I thought was cute. And just keeping it all, but basically just keeping it all in one place so that I can reference it when I need to go back and do it or DIY it or whatever. Oh, and then the most fun part is our honeymoon page. Now, I really haven't done much planning at all for the honeymoon. We're still not even sure where we're going. I mean, one location I'm thinking about is the Azores, Portugal. We'll see. But nothing's official yet. So I'm still sort of in the research phase of that. But I basically I have a travel planner that's also available in my Notion shop. But I have a travel planner, so I basically just took that travel planner and put it into this honeymoon database. And so once we do get more serious about planning that, I am probably going to fill out this page a little more. But this is really just a template view. Like I said, I don't have any official research yet for it, but this is what that travel template looks like, where I have like a research database that breaks down, you know, food and drink, accommodations, things to do, a bookings database to keep track of all of our bookings. This is a weather widget, our itinerary, packing list, flight details. So yeah, like I said, this page is just not filled out yet, but you can kind of get an idea of what it'll look like once I do have like all of that information and can start planning that. Okay guys, so that is how I am planning my wedding through Notion. If you have any questions or you're confused about something, please leave a comment and I'll try to get back to it. Like I said before, if you really like the way that this was laid out and you want a version for yourself, you can head to my Notion shop on my website and you can buy my wedding planner Notion template, where you can choose your own aesthetic and then customize it to fit your own needs for your big day. Thanks for sticking around. If you like this video, go ahead and click like and subscribe. Hope to be bringing you guys some more Notion tours and sneak peeks of my templates. If you have any requests, please let me know. But for now, happy planning.